Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me tonight is my co-host, Joel Meyer, as well as a special guest, Catfish Dilly. You may recognize his voice from the clips I played a few shows ago, saying hockey's where it's at, baby boys. How we doing, guys?
I'm doing well. Relatively well. Another night of pitiful sleep, so I'm still running on fumes. But last night was good though, because the Miami Dolphins Tennessee Titans game somehow went over 36. I got, even though it took a miracle, like an obscure rule that made the first of all, they got a safety, right? I think, and then they had to kick off or was it just the onside kick? Anyway. Point is the Dolphins got the ball, or the Titans got the ball at like the 10-yard line for whatever reason, because of this dumb rule, which turned out to a very good rule. And with on the fourth down, they weren't lining up to kick, they were lining up to go for it. I'm like, oh fuck, he's just gonna fall down to the 1-yard line. It's gonna land on 36 and then push. But thankfully, Tony Pollard, and the old cowboy bastard, he was able to get it into the end zone, so that was good for the over, and ended up with another little win on a good NFL week. But enough about me. We're introducing here Catfish Dilly, as Ryan mentioned. Buddy, how's it going? How did you get into hockey? Introduce yourself.
Going good for me. Got into hockey just because I love sports. I lived in Tennessee, and Preds were our team, and started watching the Preds, and I was like, yeah, I love hockey. And then now I'm here in Pittsburgh. Pens are my team. Yeah.
You're repping the Hockey Gambling Podcast hoodie there. That's a nice color too. I love that burgundy.
Oh, I didn't notice the hoodie in the hat. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, so down there in Smash Vegas, you stayed with the same color scheme. You're a big fan of yellow hockey teams, I guess.
Yeah. My high school colors were yellow as well, so maybe it is yellow.
There you go.
And you're originally from Florida, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Catfish Dilly is the Florida man of the Discord.
Like one.
If you're in the Discord, you probably recognize him. If you're not in the Discord, you gotta get in there. It's always a good time in there with us, especially when Catfish is a little bit less subdued than he is right now. We gotta get you going, Catfish.
When he gets after it, he's highly entertaining.
All right, top of the show here. Make sure you're subscribed. Hockey Gambling Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Follow on Twitter @HockeySGPN. Happy to see Trevor back in the chat. Trevor, we were missing you last night, so happy to see Trevor there. Trevor's welcoming Catfish as well. Damn glad you're on. So, yeah, we're gonna get right into some the Penguins preview here. We got Catfish Dilly on, Penguins fan, right from around Pittsburgh, so he has more of an inside look than we do on the Penguins. I know I'm anti-Penguins. Catfish is kind of pro-Penguins, so we can get kind of both views. And then Joel always has his objective view of everything.
Well, I'm very pro Crosby. After the Vancouver Olympics, certainly made me a huge fan of Sid the Kid, and of course recognize his professionalism. He was a whiny bitch in his first few years in the league, but since then he's matured and he's become the consummate professional. I always loved him taking pay cuts, including this offseason. Just went right back to the same number, even though he definitely deserves a pay raise. But last year, I was kind of high on the Penguins mid-season because they were playing well, but they just could not connect on the power play again and again and again. I bet Crosby 150-1, thinking that the Penguins would make the playoffs, and everybody was talking like this guy's carrying this team, and he was, but they just couldn't win games because they had one of the worst power plays in the league, which makes no sense because they have so much talent on that first line, the first unit, especially with Carlson back there. But yeah, they never found the chemistry. They couldn't generate enough chances, and the chances they did generate just never seemed to go in. So the power play sucked. That was really the story of the season for me. I thought the rest of the team played fairly well. Of course, when they traded Gensel away, they kind of fell apart. They just gave up on the season, other than Crosby, of course. But tough year for Malkin, Letang. They're another year older and all that. Carlson was okay, but he wasn't his Norris winning self. But I thought he played fairly well considering being in a new system and whatever. He wasn't as defensively fragile as he was with San Jose, at least. So they had that going for him. But yeah, when you have Crosby and these guys still still good enough to win the playoff series. It's tough when you miss the playoffs. So unfortunately, not the greatest season. So gotta grade it the unsuccessful one.
Yeah, Penguins are in a weird spot right now. Still have their guys going for the last dance, going for them again this season. But yeah, I mean, too little, too late for them last year. I remember late in the season, Crosby, people were talking about, oh, can he win the Hart? Should he win the Hart if they make the playoffs? But obviously he didn't. He did not deserve it over McKinnon or McDavid or Kucherov up there. So, back again, 8.7 million, like Joel said. That's his number. That's his contract number. But yeah, just, didn't make the playoffs. So ultimately a failure of a season, but a decent season for Crosby there with 92 points. I think he had last year, 94 points in 82 games, 42 goals. So good year for Crosby, bad year for everyone else there.
What you got, Dilly?
Yeah.
Bring up the notes.
Yeah, I got the notes here. So I don't think much has changed with the Penguins. I mean, we have a little bit of, change up in the lines. But yeah, overall, I think they're going to be around 90 points. I don't play very many futures. So I wouldn't lay the over or under, but I would definitely lean to the under on the points. I think it's set around 90.5. Yesterday, when I was first taking these notes, it was about 90 over under 90.5 on DraftKings, and it was when I looked back today, it was like juiced to the under, which I agree.
Yeah, they are taking money to the under for sure.
Yeah.
Over under is at 90.5 plus 125 to make the playoffs, minus 150 to miss. So yeah, the odds makers do give them a slightly better chance to miss than to make.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. So it doesn't look like they're probably going to have Rooker McGroarty in the starting lineup. Looks like they're probably just going to send him down and have him play down there for a few more years and develop.
Who was the guy they traded for to the Jets? It was the young stud.
Yeah, it was Braden Yeager.
That's right, yeah.
Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, so they got rid of Yeager for him. 2 prospects, prospect for prospect. They just didn't show much promise, looked like, to the team. So seems like they're going to send him back down. Solid top 6. Crosby, Rust, O'Connor, like you said. Malkin, Bunting, Raquel be your second line. Defense is strong still.
What do you think? What do you think of their offseason?
I didn't think much of the offseason. I didn't think they did too much in the offseason.
No, they just got older. Bringing in Anthony Beauvillier, Kevin Hayes, the other Sebastian Aho. Matt Grzelcyk is a good pickup, I think, but then they just lost Riley Smith, and he was not good with them last year. So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of their offseason either. It's just an aged team, and they don't have a lot of prospects in the lineup currently. So it's looking pretty bleak there. Might as well just jump into the projection right now. I'm pretty sure I'm right on line with this number as well. I have the Penguins at 89.8. So yeah, pretty much in line with market. But if the thing is, if the power play clicks this year, they could easily become a playoff team. But if they get some positive regression, because there's no way that this power play will be as bad as it was last year. Hopefully the goaltending keeps up. I don't think that was a weakness last year. And yeah, like if Crosby has another solid year, he could carry this team to the playoffs. But it's another year of wear and tear for Chris Letang, for Evgeny Malkin, and Erik Karlsson. So yeah, the wheels could fall off quite easily. So I'm not exactly excited to bet the over, but I'm not rushing to bet the under either. Like I said, I'm right on line with the market here. I just think if the power play finally clicks, maybe that could generate some offense finally, and then they can convert some chances. Like even 5-on-5, they had very good analytical numbers. They just could not put the puck in the net. And yeah, they lost Jake Gensel, of course, in the trade deadline. So they lost some scoring there as well. Yeah, I'm just not excited about this team one way or the other.
Yeah, brought in a lot of veterans, like you said, in the offseason. I like their goaltending last year. Nedeljkovic looked like he stole a few games here and there, but both of them 903, 902 save percentages. You mentioned Erik Karlsson though. I didn't realize he hasn't practiced yet in training camp as of Monday. So I mean, they say he's expected to.
What's wrong
ready
with him?
ready for the season opener? Upper body injury apparently. I'm not sure if you have any inside information there in Pittsburgh.
No, I didn't even know about this.
Yeah,
and I guess Billy doesn't either.
Yeah, I mean, he's listed day to day. Sully's not giving out much on it. He's just saying that he thinks he should be ready. But we'll see. If he is ready, he'll probably be paired up with Patterson. That's all I'm saying on it, really. But Nedeljkovic he did get injured the other day in the first period of that game. And who was his replacement? It was another Joel. Can't remember his last name.
Joel Hofer?
Can't be
Joel Bloomqvist.
Joel Bloomqvist?
Yes,
Oh,
Bloomqvist.
sweet.
So he ended up coming in, only let in one goal on 23 shots. It was a power play goal. It was like the last 7 seconds of the power play.
All right.
And it was I believe it was Dylan Larkin who shot that in. I didn't make note of that in my notes, but I think it was Larkin who shot it in. So I mean, he didn't do bad. So Mike Sullivan actually said he did terrific, and I quote. So we'll see if Ned comes back. If not, maybe we'll see. Joe.
Well, they still have Tristan Jarry, right?
Yeah, they still have Jarry. Yeah, still have Jarry.
Yeah, Joel Blomqvist, 22 years old, drafted second round in 2020. So apparently has some high pedigree there. So, maybe if they need him to come up and start a little bit, maybe be the backup. I'm not sure if they have any other veteran backups there. So maybe he would come up if Ned was out.
They probably have some other 38-year-old on the roster somewhere else, like the rest of the team.
Probably. I'm surprised they didn't sign Antti Ranta or someone like or Kevin Lankinen is still out there, isn't he?
No, the Canucks have him now, man. He also had another good preseason game.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you guys both mentioned Mike Sullivan. He's been there obviously for a long time. Not necessarily Kyle Dubas's guy. Do you think he could be on the hot seat if the Penguins have a rough start, or does Crosby protect him?
I think he is. Well, Dubas didn't hire him, obviously, but from what I understand, they have a good relationship with each other. But yeah, he was on the hot seat last year already, and he could easily be on the hot seat this year because this team is still in win now mode. So if they think that they can hire a new coach, maybe Joel Quenneville, they can kickstart the season. So yeah, if he would be on the short list to be first coach fired. I haven't seen that market. I'm gonna have a look around while you talk, Dilly.
Sure. Yeah. I think he absolutely should be in the hot seat. When he first took over coaching, I believe they started off great, but they haven't made the playoffs. They haven't made the postseason in 3 or 4 seasons now. It looks like this season they're not going to make the postseason either. So yeah, he should absolutely be in the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that market at the moment. They usually put up really early in the season, so
build up a lot of goodwill. I mean, took over middle of the season, I think, and won a Stanley Cup, and then back-to-back, obviously, first 2 years. But yeah, lost second round, lost first round, lost in the qualifying round, lost in the first round. They've won one round since winning the Stanley Cup, and then they've missed playoffs in back-to-back years. So his leash has to be pretty short once again.
Then again, like, it's funny how this works. Like, a lot of these coaches that are on the hot seat are also prime candidates for Jack Adams. And that would be an interesting one if the Penguins can get in the top 3 in the Metro, because this guy he's never won the Adams, right? And he's generally recognized as one of the better coaches in the league, and he's got to be a big number here. What am I looking at? 30-1. Okay, that's not terrible. If I had to make a bet for them positively, that would be it, because the Penguins could just take off if Malkin rediscovers the fountain of youth. Crosby keeps doing what he's doing. Then they get some good goaltending. And if, again, the power play finally clicks, they could easily, go on a hot run, and he could be a sneaky Jack Adams guy, but not someone I bet. But if I had to make a bet on the Penguins positively, that'd be it.
Nothing on Crosby for Hart or Selke or one of these guys going off. Could Carlson go off for Norris again? Dilly, you think? if everything goes well for the Penguins, what do you think the best award chance is?
I was looking. I couldn't find anything. I was looking for like DraftKings had to score hat tricks. I was looking for Brian Rust on there. I think if you could find a Brian Rust hat tricker for the season would be nice, but he wasn't even listed. So maybe later on they'll come out. Crosby was like minus 135. That's not even good enough. He's had like one hat trick and
Brian Rust is at 25.5 total goals. So I guess you would like the over on that.
Yeah, I did like the over on his goals, but yeah, I did like that over.
Yeah, because he should get a lot more shooting opportunities, scoring opportunities now without Gensel there. And he had 28 goals last year in only 62 games. So as long as he can stay healthy, that should be a solid over there, I think.
Yeah,
Crosby's at 90.5 points. Kind of like the under.
That's kind of just
pretty high.
That is pretty high. He got 94, 93 past 2 years playing the full season. So if he misses any time, that's gonna be interesting there.
Another year older.
Yeah, another year older, another year wiser.
Heard that.
Yeah, Carlson for Norris is only 50 to 1. I cannot recommend that. I'm seeing Letang 400 to 1, but unless he takes the first power play unit job without Carlson there and just carries it, I don't think he has a chance. Even if he does that, he doesn't have a chance.
He's cooked.
Yeah, this whole team's cooked. Cooked Penguin for Thanksgiving this year.
Most likely.
Yep, they're definitely going to be a bottom 10 team. Yep, for sure. Not as bad as the Flyers.
Whatever, Dilly. Flyers looking good tonight. Sam Merson's looking good in net against Boston. Do we think the Penguins they can't bottom out though, right? They have too much talent to even be worth like $1 on worst record.
Yeah, I was looking at that worst record. That was a pretty good number. I was thinking about it just because, they are if we have a few injuries, definitely possible. And what did you see it at? Like 65 to 1 or something like that?
I'm looking it up right now just because I believe Archer in our group chat had that early in the off season. I know he's in the chat. I'm not sure if he's going to be complaining that I brought it up without mentioning him first.
Yeah, I think I saw that at 65 to 1. But last year the preseason odds to win the cup were 25 to 1. They're 45 to 1 this year to win the cup.
I found first head coach fired, and sure enough, Mike Sullivan is the favorite 3 to 1. So we're on the right track.
Who are the other favorites there? Who else is up there?
Next is Trigny with the Utah Coyotes at 4 to 1. Then after that, Steepens to Derek Lalonde 8 to 1. Ryan Huska in Calgary 9 to 1. Jim Montgomery in Boston 10 to 1. That must have been bet down because of the Swayman news.
Yeah, Corpusalo is looking good
is next. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I can't see Jared Bednar getting fired there.
No.
All right. Anything else on the Penguins, guys? Dilly, any other notes any other leftover notes you haven't been able to speak out here?
Nope. But I will. If you get in the Discord, then you'll find out all the Pens insider info. I'll be putting that in there.
There you go.
You're our expert now.
Love to hear it. Yeah, get in the Discord, guys. sg.pn/Discord. Catfish, where can people find you on Twitter? I know you've been putting some plays out for some newsletter too recently. If you want to shout that out, let the listeners know where to find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I only have Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at catfish_dilly1. And yeah, I've been putting some plays out. I post them. I share the newsletter post. And last month I killed it. I was up like almost 11 units on the month.
There we go. Hopefully you can keep it rolling here.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Billy. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Penguins expert here.
Yeah. Good night, baby boy.
All right. That's the Penguins preview. Joel, you have anything else here, or can I throw it to the ads?
Give her.
All right. We're brought to you. Oh, first of all, the SGPN is doing a great thing here. Flood support. Hurricane Helen has been devastating to the people of Western North Carolina. SGPN is teaming up with a local charity, mountainprojects.org, to help give back. The biggest donation will get a guest spot on the College Football Pick Show and a ton of gear. Go to mountainprojects.org and hit flood support to help out today. And of course, we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em has one of the best menus for all sports. NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, and more. Got hockey starting this week, so make sure you check that out and sign up with promo code HGP to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code HGP. All right, we have one more Metropolitan team left here, Joel, I believe. Your New York Islanders.
Yes, the New York Islanders, not a team I was particularly high on last year, and for good reason. I don't even know if they went over their point total. It was probably like right in line with what it was.
92.5, so just over at 94.
Yeah, sounds about right. And they would not have gone over if it weren't for Patrick Waugh coming in for Lane Lambert, who was, struggling. They were out of the playoffs, and Lou Lamoriello brought in the hot Quebecois coach, and he turned this team around and got them to the playoffs. So that's all you can ask for. I know that Sorokin had a tough second half of the season, which is a bit surprising considering, you'd think that he'd be a match made in heaven with Patrick Waugh. But we are learning that he had off-season surgery, so he could have been injured in that time as well. So that's something to look at going forward. But yeah, it's not an inspiring team. I mean, Patrick Waugh, you got the offense going a little more, so they weren't quite as boring towards the end of the season. And a lot of that had to do with the goaltending struggles, where Varlamov was actually outperforming Sorokin. But yeah, and then they got to the playoffs. They kind of pushed the Hurricanes and just didn't have enough talent to keep up with them. I believe they lost in 5, or did they get to 6? I know I bet them against the Hurricanes. That did not work out, but yeah, either way, did not make it to second round, but that's okay because this team were pretty much dead in the water for towards the middle of the season. But Patrick Waugh came in and lifted this team, elevated this team, got the most out of a lot of the players. And yeah, I really liked, once again, Matthew Barzal's season. Bo Horvat continues to play well with him. But yeah, it's not a great team to talk about. There's not too much interesting going on, but Patrick Waugh is certainly interesting. So at least, and there's some excitement there. But yeah, it's ultimately a successful season because I don't think that they are a true contender. So just getting to the playoffs with this another older team is pretty good. You just hope that Sorokin can turn it around because obviously he could be the best goalie in the league like he was 2-3 years ago. But yeah, he was not that last year. So yeah, just a mildly positive season, I guess we could say.
Yeah, Islanders, making the playoffs, like you said, was definitely a surprise. So success-ish for them. Patrick Waugh was the reason they made the playoffs, along with Semyon Varlamov. Patrick Waugh, they went 20-12-5, 45 points in 37 games, which is just under 100-point pace under Patrick Waugh, which is pretty impressive given, the talent or lack thereof on the Islanders roster. They just play fucking annoying hockey to play against. Even in the preseason, the Flyers have played them a few times. It's been, tight checking, hard fought games. So never going to be an easy team to beat, especially if they have, Sorokin and Varley both playing well. Team save percentage was 911 last year. So yeah, and I looked at that before, like their expected goals 4% before Patrick Waugh was like the bottom 12, and then with Patrick Waugh was like the top 12. So he was able to turn around the team a little bit, got him playing his style. So yeah, I mean, successful season, I guess, because they made the playoffs, but I don't know what the Islanders are doing. They're just a very mediocre team, it feels like.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for them for whatever reason. I don't know why exactly, just because I kept betting them when they were, kept losing to the Lightning there 3 or 4 years ago in the conference finals. But and of course, I like Lou Lamoriello. Now I like Patrick Waugh, so I love the management of this team at least. Plus Matthew Barzal, a local kid, and all that, so that helps as well. And I did bet their point total over midseason. I think once Patrick Waugh was hired, it was like 88.5, so that worked out. But anyway, their offseason a lot less interesting than the year before, where they signed all those guys to like these crazy long-term short AAV deals. We just added Anthony Duclair, which could provide some offense for a team that notoriously struggles to put the puck in the net. And they just lost the depth defenseman there, Sebastian Aho. Were there any signings? I'm not looking at something very updated, but it's just a middling off season. But that's the way they do things. They just keep the core intact and just keep trucking along year over year. I guess Sorokin, did he sign this offseason or was it the year before?
I don't remember. That may have been. I don't think it really matters, honestly. I'm signed. Where does Puckpedia say when it was signed? July 1st, 2020, last offseason he signed.
Yeah,
so.
okay. Yeah, that's when they did all their business, really. So this was a highly uneventful offseason for the Islanders. So it's another middling grade for me.
Yeah, like you said, they just signed Duclair for the other Sebastian Aho. Duclair should add some offense. You know, he was kind of got rejuvenated a little bit down there in Tampa, along with Matt Dumba when they traded for them at the deadline. They also have Maxim Siplikov, I believe his name is, because he did play against the Flyers, right. And I did hear his name. I'm not sure if they signed him. They signed him back in May, so that was part of their offseason, I suppose. He was the guy from the KHL that
with a T.
With a T,
Siplikov.
Yeah. Siplikov, yeah. So pulling up his KHL numbers here last year, he is 26 years old, right wing, 6'3", left-handed shot. Last year had 31 goals, 47 points in 65 games for Spartak Moskva, wearing the A there. Looks like he's going to get a chance on the second line with the Islanders, which, you know, besides the top line with Horvat and Barzal, and now they have Duclair up there. I mean, the rest of their lines could. I'll give credit to Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson is I feel like an underrated, gritty player there. I think last year he had 34 goals. So last year Kyle Palmieri had 30 goals. Like, the Islanders got goals out of nowhere from these guys last year. But yeah, this offseason, Adam Duclair is good. If he can. He seems to always be that type of guy that can be the third guy on a line. So with Horvat and Barzal, maybe that'll work out for them and slide everyone down a little bit. You know, just a annoying team to play against, like I said. Still have their defensemen all locked up. Still have their good goalie tandem. So, yeah. Couldn't really do much this offseason. Didn't really do much. Another C+, B-ish grade.
Yeah. For their odds for this season, 91.5 for the point total, even money to make, -115 to miss. Thereabouts, 15-1 for the Metro. No, thank you. I mean, this team does not have the kind of upside that'll win the division. So I'm definitely missing that. But yeah, it's got bet up a little bit. I do have some 88.5. Maybe you could still find a rogue 88.5. I got a projected 92.5 here. So I'm clearly higher on the Islanders than market, at least the early market. I do think that they are better than the Capitals, and we're seeing the market agree with that as they get bet over and the Capitals get bet under. To make, though, I don't know if that's the play, because I think it's going to be a struggle for the Metro to compete with the Atlantic to get their teams in. Yeah, it's still lean to the 91.5 for the over, but it's kind of too high at that price. But yeah, for this season, I think it's going to be more of the same. Hopefully, with another year under Patrick Roy's system, they continue to make progress in terms of how they play and get some more offense going. Duclair, like we mentioned, should help with that. And of course, the power play's got to be better. It's always struggling on the island there for years and years, but the penalty kill, something makes up for that. I think that continues more or less, but yeah, I mean, this team does have some more offensive potential this year, so they could make some moves. But interestingly, yeah, with the Sorokin surgery, hopefully he's rejuvenated. That's the big thing, because they can't rely on Varlamov to do what he did. I don't think he's going to play as well this year as he did last year, as he's another year older, and of course he's prone to injury as well. So yeah, Sorokin's health is a big part of this. So you're really backing on him to rebound here if you want to bet positively on the Islanders. So that's the story. Lean to the over at these prices, but I'm not exactly convinced by it.
Yeah, they've been very quiet on the Sorokin injury front, which I have to imagine it means it's not positive news.
No. The Islanders are notoriously quiet on every fucking thing. You know, Lou Lamoriello.
Well, I feel like
he never announced his signings until like the end of the year, even though they happened like months before.
Yeah, they're like reported, and it's just wait. But I have to feel like he'd at least be like skating, or like at least get in one preseason game. So that's the only thing kind of giving me pause here because I could see this Islanders team. Because one of these teams has to make the playoffs, or I guess not, because Devils, Rangers, Canes take the 3 spots in the Metro. There could be 5 teams in the Atlantic, so then it's just Islanders, Capitals, Penguins, Flyers, just missing out in the Metro or fighting for a wild card there.
Even money is not enough, I don't think.
Yeah. No, even money's not good enough to make. I'm saying potentially to miss. Minus 115s out there. There's a few minus 120s, minus 125. DraftKings does have minus 105, which is enticing to me, especially if Sorokin is out for longer than expected, or I don't even know what's expected for him right now. And I'm not sure who their backup is. If it's going to be Varley to start the season. Let me see who they have on Puckpedia for non-roster goalies. Marcus Hogberg, I guess, would be their backup. Keith Kincaid, I guess, is on a PTO there. They have him as a UFA, and then they have a bunch of other kids that I don't think they would call up. So, yeah, it's all on Sorokin, who's one of the favorites to win the Vezina, even though he hasn't been seen on the ice since undergoing back surgery last offseason. We did see the same thing last year with Vasilevsky, though. Underwent back surgery, missed the first half of the year, was good enough in the second half to get the Lightning to the playoffs. But I don't know if this Islanders team can make up for that like the Lightning team could last year. If I had to take something, it would be missed playoffs, minus 115. This Islanders team is just very, very bland. Nothing really about them to talk about.
In terms of my power ratings, I have them at 8th best team in the East, so that would make them the second wild card spot there. So I do technically have 4 teams in the Metro, making it just barely over the Sabres and Sens there. So, but yeah, there's just too much potential there. Like clustered are behind them. There's the Senators, Sabres, Red Wings, and sneaky long shot. The Canadiens could make a big leap. So yeah, it's just like I said. Even money is not enough for me to back that position because there's just too much volatility with those younger teams there. They could finally make the push there for the playoffs. Like we've been talking about the Sens, Sabres, and Red Wings forever, and eventually, you think one of them's going to get in, and maybe this is the year.
Yeah, and like Varley only started 27 games last year, hasn't started more than 29 since 2021, so he's not going to be able to be a good goalie in the bulk of it. So they're going to need Sorokin to come back. Just curious, how much does your model have goaltending as an impact? Like if Sorokin's injured, how much would that take the Islanders down?
Oh, significantly. That would drop them at least 5 points, 6 points, which would put them, right with the Capitals.
And that
they're still as good as the Capitals, even without Sorokin.
The mushy middle there of the Metro is just that you got the top 3, you got these 4 teams that are hoping to do something, and then you got the Blue Jackets at the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's any really awards to talk about with the Islanders. Like I said, Sorokin is one of the favorites for the Vezina, 12-1, 10-1, some books. I wouldn't possibly bet that until I see him on the ice. And even then, I wouldn't bet that either, given the goaltenders around him.
I did bet Sorokin at 13-1. I'm back in the surgery, man. I'm trusting.
It's not a bad bet. I wouldn't like tell people not to bet.
He was the favorite last year, right? It was like 6-6 to 6-7-1, and now you're getting a massive discount here for the good defensive team. Like he led the league. It was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I think, when Allmark won. He had the better goal save over expected stat. I mean, obviously that doesn't mean a lot for the GMs who vote on the Vezina. They just count wins, so that's definitely a hit against him. But I think if he just puts up those numbers again, and the Islanders are a playoff team, I think they have to give him some consideration. And yeah, I just think that he's at his best. I think he's the best goalie in the league, to be honest.
Yeah, 2 years ago, 6 shutouts to lead the league, second in Vezina behind Allmark, as you said. So if he can get back to that, then there's definitely a chance. I mean, it's a fair argument. I just wouldn't bet it myself. Okay, we are brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that's helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. You can build your own model. You can copy a model, or Rhythm can build one for you to give you predictions for every game and prop. I got the myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And make sure you check out BetUS, bet with the best in the business. BetUS, they've been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Use our link to sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN. All right, we concluded the Metro. Going to start the Atlantic with the Buffalo Sabres since they are playing in Prague in just a few days here on Friday against the Devils. So, Joel, what do you got for Buffalo?
Well, another disappointing season for the Sabres. They were hyped up to no end last year, and they disappointed. And it wasn't really because of injuries. They just, like Tage Thompson, he was supposed to be like this, this beast, this giant beast, and long shot Hart Trophy guy. But he definitely regressed last year after a phenomenal 2022-2023 season. And that was really the story of the whole team. Like, they didn't get any real push from Dahlin and Seth Owen Power, even though they played well enough, but not enough to really carry the team, and just they struggled to score for how much offense they generated with them. They failed to score. They once again, their goaltending failed them. With what's his name, I have terrible.
Devin Levi. Devin Levi was supposed to be.
Yeah, he sucked, but I'm thinking of the other guy. No, the other guy.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen?
Yeah.
You're hating on our boy?
No, he definitely regressed as well. Like, they had a better season the year before, I think, and they had a strong finish to the season, so that's encouraging going into this one. You do want to end the season on a high, but overall, definitely a highly disappointing season considering this team is are they the team in all sports, all North American sports, to go the longest without making the playoffs? They're up there anyway, at least longest in the NHL, I'm pretty sure. They're definitely playoff deprived, and they're right on the edge though. They're right on the borderline. They keep bringing in, new coaches, new management, but it's not working out so far. So, considering the hype before the season, it's got to be graded as an unsuccessful season here. We expect a little bit more out of them.
Yeah, the longest playoff drought in sports is the New York Jets, and then it's the Buffalo Sabres. Jets last made it in 2010. Sabres made it in 2011.
I forgot. I bet Mac, a listener here, that the Senators would have a better record than the Sabres, and unfortunately, the Sabres were not unsuccessful in that. The Sabres did finish better than the Senators. I wasn't entirely positive on the Sabres, but the Sens just undermined me once again.
Yeah. Sens were hyped up. Sabres were hyped up equally as well. Point percentage was 90, or point total was 92.5. They got only to 84 there. Tage Thompson, huge disappointment, huge step back from his 40 plus goals the year before. Only had 29 last year. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was good last year though. 910 save percentage and 51 starts. Had an 891 the year before. He kind of emerged as the starter there for them. Previous former second round pick there. Yeah, Dahlin, Tuck, Thompson, John Jason Jingleheimer, Schmidt, Peterka had a good year for them. 50 points in 82 games. Casey Middlestat, they eventually traded to the Colorado Avalanche. Jeff Skinner had a kind of a decent year for him. 24 goals, but just a very down year for the Sabres. And looking back on it, I don't know why they were hyped so much. I guess maybe we thought Thompson would take another step forward. Dahlin would maybe be in the Norris Trophy conversation, but they didn't really make any noise at all last year.
No, they did not. And they didn't make much noise in the offseason either. I don't think on paper, they didn't seem to get a lot better. Just bringing in depth guys, like Sam Lafferty, Beck Malenstein from the Capitals, Jason Zucker, who is another, this guy is long past his prime. Then they lost other vets who were basically a wash, like Zemgus Girgensons, Victor Olofsson, and Jeff Skinner. Like they bought him out, or they just traded him to the Oilers. No,
I think they bought him out, right?
They did buy him out, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that's fine for the cap space. You're fine going forward there. I think they do have some money to work with, but he still provided a lot of offense for the team, even though he's getting paid way too much. So that's definitely a loss. And I think that this team got worse this offseason. Although bringing in Bo and Byram, that definitely strengthens the defense, which has been a struggle for them for years. Losing Casey Middlestat, who had a really good year last year for the Sabres, his best year so far. So they kind of like sold high on him. Bringing in Bo Byram, who has struggled with the Avalanche, so they're buying low on him. And Bo Byram definitely has the potential to be an elite first pair D-man. Even though that'd be a bad thing because you're hoping that Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin can man the fort in that respect. So yeah, that's overall I think a good one because they do have some center depth there. But yeah, overall this offseason was not good. So we'll I don't know, C minus for them because they should be pushing for the playoffs. Like the fans are desperate to make the playoffs, but they just keep middling around and they're not making the most out of their cap space. So yeah, I can't give them a good grade here.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the Jeff Skinner buyout. I don't know if he was bad in the room there. They wanted to get him out for some reason, but they probably could have traded him with some salary retention and would have been better long term for them. But yeah, they got rid of Jeff Skinner, added these kind of plug veteran guys, maybe good locker room guys. But yeah, James Reimer to be the backup there, I guess, is going to be decent for them. He was good enough in Detroit. He's now 36, maybe a bit over the hill there, but only needs to start 20, 30 games behind UPL. Maybe Levi can have a resurgence. But yeah, I think their biggest move was the deadline when they got Bo Byram for Casey Middlestat. That gives them a nice pair there to grow with, Byram and Power on the same pair. I believe that's what they were rolling with last year. Expected to be their second pair this year with Dahlin and Yokiharu on the top pair. Matthias Samuelsson, Connor Clifton is a decent third pair as well. Like they have a good blue line, but the goal scoring just isn't there, especially if Tage Thompson's not scoring. I guess they're expecting their young guys to get better. Zach Benson, Dylan Cousins, Jack Quinn. They're still all pretty young. JJ Peterka as well, 22. Dahlin's still 23, even though he seems he's a lot older Peyton Krebs. So it's still a growing team. Would like to see him do more in the offseason, but we didn't even mention they brought back Lindy Ruff, probably their biggest move of the offseason. Try to get that the Lindy magic back, but we'll see if it works the second time around.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Projecting forward, though, we'll start off with a bet from Parker the Underbetter, who is not an underbetter in this case. We're going JJ Peterka over 25.5 goals. I don't mind that at all because, of course, he's German, so I'm biased. But still, I think that he's on a fast track to becoming an elite forward in this league. So, yeah, that's a decent look right there. But as for their odds here, we got Sabres lined at 88.5 point total, plus 160 to make, minus 190 to miss, and then 17-1 for the Atlantic. No fucking thanks. Yeah, I bet the over here. I'm kind of confident that this team can finally turn it around here at a relatively low number. They were higher than this, slightly higher than this, I believe, last year. And what do I got? I'm projected at. The Sabres are at the 90.8, so that's a good bet, I think, for the Sabres, just backing them to finally make the most of some of their youth guys and hopefully make some steps forward. Tage Thompson regresses positively to what he was a couple years ago and finally starts putting the puck in the net a little bit more. Like he did have a decent end of the season, but the first half of the season, he was not good at all, considering what they expected him to be. So yeah, I like the Sabres here to at least go over this point total. But my favorite bet, of course, is something that's been bet down quite a bit. But Lindy Ruff to win the Jack Adams. I just don't understand why he's not the same price as the likes of Travis Green. They're basically projected to be the same kind of team here, around the same point total. But for some reason, Travis Green has a much shorter number, even after Lindy Ruff's been bet down. So yeah, I mean, when he was like 25, 28-1, even I got some 33-1. On Lindy Ruff to win Jack Adams. So that was my favorite, one of my first bets of the offseason. And I still think you could find some decent numbers of that. But he's finally being bet down at some places like Bet Online.
To interject here, Archer, if you can check DraftKings real quick, I'm seeing, according to this site, it's 25-1 on this odds comparison site for Lindy Ruff.
Yeah,
but 13-1 at Caesars. Like there seems to be a wide range out there.
10-1 at Bet Online. So
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
That's a little too short, but
down,
anything in the 20s or better. I really like Lindy Ruff here because once again, like the voters, they'll be recognizing that he got this team to the playoffs finally after all this time. And they've had how many coaches go through? Like they seem to fire their coach every year. So Lindy Ruff comes back, a big redemption story after being fired in New Jersey after a bad year there. And yeah, he comes back to Buffalo and brings them glory in the playoffs. So I really like that bet more than any of these other ones. But I did bet over 80.5 as well.
With that point total over, what price would you need to make playoffs make playoffs rather than just a point total?
Yeah, like I said, it's like there's too many teams in that middle ground.
Like 2-1, do you think, or you think that they could be one of these teams?
Yeah, 2-1 is 2-1 is decent.
I mean, plus 170 is the best out there. I'm just wondering, like, what you would bet to make playoffs instead of over 80.
There's just, like I said, there's just too many teams in that middle ground there. Like, because they're gonna be in a dogfight with 4 or 5 teams to make the playoffs there. There's the Penguins, there's the Capitals, Islanders, Senators, Red Wings, all these teams fighting for those like 2 last playoff spots. So it's just there's too much busyness around there fighting for that wild card spot. So yeah, I would need a much bigger price, at least 2-1. Even then, not too interested. I would just bet more Lindy Ruff, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's something they can't control. They can control their point total. They can get to 89 and miss the playoffs. I think 2 teams did that last year. At least one did. Red Wings got 91 points. But yeah, Lindy Ruff 25-1 at DraftKings is correct according to Archer here in the chat. That's a great bet because if he gets them back there to the playoffs, they're plus 160 to make the playoffs. You're getting more than 10 times that, depending on what book you're at. I think he'll at least be a finalist, and you'll be able to at least kind of about a few other guys if you want to hedge it out a little bit. If it looks like if he won't win, but if he has shorter odds. I don't really have a strong position on the Sabres this year. I think they're on a good path here. They got Zach Benson, still a teenager, a bunch of guys, 24, 23 and under. So they got a good runway here, but I'm not sure if this is going to be their year. Definitely a team I'm going to be watching early on, though. If they have a good start, I may try to hop on their bandwagon before the odds move too much. And yeah, I love that Peterka bet. He had 28 goals last year. Now he's going to be a year better, probably playing on a better line, playing on the top line, playing top power play unit. So great bet there by Parker, the under better, betting on the over.
Yeah, those point totals are so soft. Like it's just a shame they're all like minus 110, minus 115, whatever, because otherwise it'd be far more invested in them. But then again, I do the same thing with the point totals. I just find those a little bit easier to I don't know, with the injury shit and all that can happen with the player props. It makes it tough, and I just have less interest in following players. I'd rather just follow the teams. So it's a personal thing, but I do think that if you take those player props seriously, the season long ones, you can definitely make bank.
Oh, I'm trying to check what the goals, like the alt goals are here, and I'm seeing we already have player prop odds out for Friday's game. But looking ahead, player stats, alt regular season goals. Peterka's not even listed to get 40 on DraftKings. I think FanDuel has 30 there, so I might check that. But yeah, look for some of those season long bets. If you see a player or an angle you like, they can be softer markets.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on the Sabres or any of these 3 teams before we close it out here?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any other award. I bet. Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Well, we will be back tomorrow again, 3rd day in a row, I believe, Wednesday evening as we normally record. Joel, you're good tomorrow?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll continue with the Atlantic, go over the games. We got games Friday, Saturday, and then they got the opening North America next Tuesday. So a week away from hockey now. So make sure you guys are on board. Subscribe to the Hockey Gambling Podcast. Apple, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating. And YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Get in there. Shout out Catfish Dilly for joining us there. Appreciate him joining and giving his insight on the Penguins. And follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. I'm Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
And I'm Joel Meyer. You can find me echoing Cam Neely. Jeremy Swayman, you got 64 million reasons to play. So get the fuck that contract signed. Come on, Bruins. Figure it out.
See ya.